Today I want to go over who I think is the best Team Affinity player at every single position. Whether you guys want to build a full team of Team Affinity players or you need a player in your lineup at a specific position, I think this should help you identify exactly who you need. And make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it as always. So I wanted to give you guys a good option at every position because this year, most players actually have fewer secondary positions. So for the most part, that primary position on the card will determine where you'll have these players. Let's begin with who I think the best starting pitcher of the Team Affinity players are, and that's Clay Buchholz from the Red Sox. The one thing that stands out immediately is that pitching clutch is at 114, so dude is going to be locked down when guys get in scoring position, but also 93 stamina, 83 hit per 9, really good. 5-pitch mix, which I like. I like his pitches, pretty good differentials, speed differentials on his pitches. So early game as a free starting pitcher, I definitely recommend getting Clay Buchholz. As a reliever though, John Franco, I'm going to go with him. So I think 5 pitches is, somewhat rare for a relief pitcher, especially maybe this early on in the game. Doesn't throw hard, but, he's got, a 92 fastball, but then you can also throw in that 73 mile an hour screwball. And then he's just got, other, sinker, slider, change. I like the combination there. Hit per 9's really strong. Pitching clutch really strong. K per 9. Pretty damn strong too. This is a solid card, lefty. Now, if you guys need a righty relief pitcher, I would recommend someone like Raleigh Fingers from the Brewers or Justin Martinez from the D-backs. Moving on to the position players, we'll start off with catcher, and I got Craig Biggio from the Astros. Solid contact. He's got 70 clutch, which is pretty good. He's got really good speed too, like 88 speed. He might be the fastest catcher in the game right now, to be honest. 88 speed, I'm not sure anyone is faster than that, so that's super intriguing. As far as fielding goes, at this point in the game, I'm not sure how much that matters for a catcher. Decent arm, but overall, I just think he is the best catcher, and that speed is super intriguing, like I said, so I like that a lot. As far as quirks, he's got a handful of quirks too, so he's got that working for him. So I do like this Craig Biggio card. The best first baseman, I feel like, is probably Richie Sexton here. The hitting attributes just are really good. Obviously, that contact right is a little bit scary, but other than that, the clutch at 93, I just love his hitting attributes. The fielding is low, but I just don't think it matters as much for a first baseman, compared to like a shortstop or something. And I think the biggest issue, though, with this card might be his height, 6'8". This dude is probably the tallest guy in the game, so if you guys don't like hitting with tall hitters, I would suggest someone else. I'm thinking like Frank Thomas, but Frank Thomas is 6'5", so he's another good first base option of the Team Affinity cards, but he's also tall. At second base, this Bobby Grich card is sneaky really good. He's just a really well-balanced card, very good contact, solid power. That clutch is probably the only thing that I kind of hesitate with. At 63, that's probably his weakness, but because he can field, he's got a decent arm. 63 speed, I think it's just good enough where if you hit one in the gap, you'll be able to, leg out a double. Really just the clutch, but otherwise this card is really good. I really like this card. Solid second base option for you guys. Cal Ripken, I'm pretty sure, is the only primary shortstop of all the Team Affinity cards, and his card's fine. It's not spectacular. It's just really fine. So if you do want a different player, though, from Team Affinity at shortstop, the player coming up next could also play shortstop, and I probably recommend you play him there. And that player who can also play third base is Junior Caminero, and he might actually be, now that I'm looking at it, a better third base option just because his fielding's not great, but he has a good arm, so that probably does make sense more at third, but you can play him either spot, and I'll give you guys another third base option here in a second. But yeah, I like this Caminero card. Very good hitter. He's good enough in the field, solid speed, 50 is probably just good enough. The other good third base option would be Max Muncy, and I actually have not used Muncy yet, but I've heard really good things about him from people who have used him. Now, that contact left and that clutch scares the crap out of me, but everything else is very good on this card, so give him a try. I've heard very good things about him. In left field, we have Kyle Schwarber of the Phillies, and he's probably the best hitter among all the Team Affinity cards, I would say. He's going to mash lefties. That contact right does scare me a little bit, but nearly maxed out power right, and like I said, he mashes lefties. That 77 clutch is pretty good. I'll take that. That fielding, He might be a better DH. I'll say that because that fielding scares me a lot too. But yeah, he's going to absolutely crush the ball. So that DH spot might be best for him, but a left field option nonetheless. Center field is pretty weak among the Team Affinity cards, but it probably is Jim Edmonds. There's two things that really scare me about this card. One, the combination of the contact left and clutch, very, very low, although his power numbers are great and his fielding's great. But then that speed, 54 speed in center field is suspect. Ideally, almost always I'm going to have someone who's fast in center field. That's just how I am. And so I don't know. I would probably try to go maybe with one of the other outfielders, in center field with that secondary position. In right field, I have Babe Ruth of the Yankees, and similar to Kyle Schwarber, that fielding is very low, and yes, he probably is better in that DH spot, I would say. Plus, he's not fast at all, so, he's probably needs a little bit more speed to be in the outfield, but his hitting attributes are fantastic. These are, at this point in the game, very, very good hitting attributes that makes up for a lot of the other weaknesses. And then he's got a lot of quirks too. A lot of these quirks, basically in these certain situations with the quirks, it'll expand, or the PCI of his will grow in those situations. So quirks, once again, pretty important this year. So he's got kind of everything other than, maybe he's a little bit suspect in the field, but again, he could probably DH. And let me know if you guys would suggest any other players at any of these positions. There's, other good players out there that I did not mention in the video. But yeah, if you guys want to let people know in the comments and people can try some of those cards out, I would appreciate that. And shout out to those of you who made it to this point in the video. That's going to be it for this one, though. I do appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching this one. See you guys next time. Peace.